Hello out there in video land, and let me get my radio guys going. Hello out there in radio land. Johnny, how's your mic?
Bonjour, mon ami. Comment ça va?
Okay,
Écoutez.
Yes, you got some good volumes. Okay, let's get going here with Absolutely live from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q. And Johnny, what a week this week for the Montreal Canadiens. Unbelievable. They did exactly what we said they had to do.
La deuxième semaine.
That's it. Beautiful. We said they have to win these games. These are games they can win.
Games that they can win. That's the key. Win the games you should win. They did.
Last place, Sharks. Second last place, Buffalo Sabres. We had to beat them. We came out and we beat them. They gave me a couple of cardiac skips here with the games, but at the end of the day, we did win them.
6 points in the book.
6 points in the book. 1 point from a wild card spot right now, and we'll go through the stats later on. But a clean sweep of the games, and you know what? They had to do this to stay in contention. We've been saying all year they have to win the games. They should win. And they won the games. They should win.
Absolutely.
So that's fantastic. And we swept the Buffalo series, by the way.
Yes. and the nice thing is we're on a roll right now. I mean, we've won, 7 games since we came back, right? From the break.
That's right. This is fantastic. Heineman's back.
Yes.
And we start winning every game.
7 games in a row. That's fabulous.
We've got to keep going.
That's a nice streak.
I'm going to talk about the stats later on.
And the best thing as well is we actually got the goalies right, I think, for the first time all year.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
So that was brilliant.
And they played good games besides. So fantastic. Now I got a question for you.
Une question. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
This is an interesting question. We're seeing all this stuff about tariffs.
Oh, yes. Right.
How do you think the tariffs will affect the ticket prices in the NHL?
Ticket prices could drop along the border, that's for sure, in Buffalo.
I never thought of that. That's a good point.
Okay, because I mean, I have a lot of friends who are telling me now that they are no longer going to go over to Buffalo to watch a hockey game.
Wow.
Okay, so if that starts to happen, if Canadians say, I'm not going to Buffalo to see a game, you have less people, less demand. Supply and demand. Supply should, is increased, and demand is low, and the price should fall.
I never thought of border cities.
Border cities.
Yeah, I never thought about it. You have Detroit and a lot of border cities.
That could happen in Florida if enough Canadians actually walk the walk and talk the talk, say that they are going to move and leave their residences and not inhabit the United States, maybe even you could rent your place out for 4 years and say, I'm just not going to go down there for the next 4 years or whatever. And if I was a hockey fan and I was going to see a Tampa Bay all the time, then I'm not in the building.
I was thinking more on the other line of that. I never thought of that angle, but that's a great angle right there. I was thinking more about equipment. A lot of the equipment that they use, hockey sticks, pads.
Sticks, yeah. I did think of hockey sticks the other day, but I was thinking, remember there was Northland who made sticks. And, think about it. Let's go back to what we know. What do we know? We know the original 6.
Yeah, we know wood.
Okay, we know wood. It was lumber. Those goalie sticks were lumber.
Yeah,
they were heavy. But if you were a Canadian team, your stick was most likely CCM. You get the odd Victoriaville stick in there, coming out of La Belle Provence.
Yeah.
But CCM was generally the stick of most Canadian teams. But if you went to Chicago and Detroit, they had this stick called Northland, which I don't think we ever saw retailed here in Canada, or at least here in Niagara Falls.
I don't remember that. Coho, I remember.
Coho came later. But the Northland stick was there in the early 60s, and it was manufactured in the United States of America. Therefore, teams like Chicago and Detroit they were using Northland lumber.
Yeah, God. I remember getting the first curved stick I got was from Mammy's Wonder Bread.
Mammy's Wonder Bread?
Yeah, don't you remember Mammy's Wonder Bread?
No.
Yeah, they had coupons, and you could cash in the coupons on the loaves of bread,
right,
for a hockey stick, and it was curved.
Was it one of those blades, you mean?
No, it was a stick with a curved blade and had black, like, fiberglass on it.
Crazy.
I can't remember what brand it was. So maybe it was
that's crazy. I mean, I remember I mentioned before on the show making, like, curving your stick, you know, having a huge pot of boiling water that you would use for making sauce, right? And sticking your stick in there and then putting it under the door and curving
it up.
Yeah, warping it.
Yeah, warping it. A lot of the graphite sticks, the new sticks, are made in Canada, in Mexico, and in China, believe it or not.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, so you know, if they're gonna be shipping them across borders from either from Mexico into the States or whatever, they're gonna be 25% more. Now, for a guy who's buying it like me or you going out to buy a stick, big deal. But for a team that goes through 100 sticks a game, I mean, they break like crazy, these sticks. That, you know, it adds up at the end of the year to millions.
If you're an American team buying sticks and they're coming from Canada or from China and you're getting hit with a tariff, then you're paying more money.
Yeah, the team's paying more money.
So
and same with equipment, like, you know, your hockey pads, your shin pads, your goalie pads. They're all coming from somewhere. Most of the goalie pads come from Canada, probably, right?
I would suspect. I mean, a lot of people do buy the pads here in Canada.
Yeah, they're custom made, but there's
I gotta believe those nowadays, and I don't know, but I would imagine there's somebody in the United States of America manufacturing hockey equipment.
Yeah, but with all these tariffs, it's going to add up to a lot of money for these teams. Not to mention the Canadian dollar being under 70 cents now. So every one of those American contracts, we're going to talk about a beautiful one today later on.
Yes.
They're all worth, 50%. I mean, you know, like, it's costing them 50% more. So the cost is going to go up for these teams. Guaranteed, it has to. And then you're going to get double hit by, like you say, by people not going to Florida, so they're not going to the games down there. People not going to Buffalo, so they're not going to that game. And I never even thought of that angle, but good point. Yeah. This is going to, I don't know I don't know if anybody's even going to notice it. Maybe, I don't know, but it's definitely a consideration for everybody now. Absolutely. Okay, I wanted to ask you that because I knew you'd have a different take on it. I didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah,
but I knew you'd have a different take on it.
And you know, I always think I was thinking the tariffs today, but I was thinking of Tardif. I was thinking of Tardifs. Mark Tardif.
Why?
Because, like, the play on the word tariff, Tardif.
Oh, Tardif.
Mark Tardif. What a great player he was for us. You know,
Mark Tardif.
And he, he played for the Habs and he played for the Nordiques.
The Nordiques.
The Nordiques.
The Nordique. Okay, guess what's next?
The phone is ringing and we need to answer it, or the answering machine will take care of it. Habsolutely Trivia.
That's right, Habsolutely Trivia. And for all you guys out there that just were listening to us talk about tariffs, what do you think it's going to do? Do you have anything out there? Leave a comment. What do you think is going to happen? Is it going to cost the teams more? Is it going to cause problems along the border? Is it going to cause problems with some of these southern teams that have a lot of Canadians that go down for the winter, snowbirds, if you will, and they're not going to be attending? So it could affect revenue. So what do you think? What do you think? Okay, Habs Trivia. Easy question today.
Excellent.
Easy. I'm going to make it really easy
like
for
Sunday
everybody.
Morning?
Easy like Sunday morning. True, false. It's a true or false question. And it's for you.
We've never had a true or false question before, have we?
I don't think so.
So this is le premier, it's a first.
I'm giving you a 50% shot at it.
now we're doing mathematics. Here we go.
True or false? Goaltender, Michel, Bunny Larocque. Remember him?
Bunny Larocque, I've told you, you kind of forget about him because he played so few games when he was backing up probably the best Montreal Canadian goaltender ever, Ken Dryden.
Exactly. He was in that era, and he didn't play a lot of games every year, simply because you're not going to get in a lot with Ken Dryden in that.
Until Ken went back to school.
That's the season that Bunny got to play the most games. He shared it with, I think, Michelle 70 or something. But he got the nickname Bunny because of the way he always hopped back to his feet so fast after making a save.
Bum, 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 da, 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 da.
He did the bunny hop.
Bum, bum, bum.
True or false? Is that how he got his nickname?
False.
False. Okay. What do you think out there? Is that true or false? Did he get his nickname because after every save he'd hop up to his feet? The teammates saw that and they started calling him Bunny because he hopped up like a bunny.
Is this because Easter's in like 6 weeks from now? Is that why we're getting this question?
Oh, today's Ash Wednesday, Dad.
Well, say we.
It's a very, very, very solemn day for Catholics right now, the start of Lent. And I'm going to give up skydiving this year.
What did you give up last year?
I gave up deep sea diving. I was going to go to the Titanic, but I gave it up. I gave up on that after the disaster.
Jimmy gave you a call, and said, "Get Taz going down."
I had it booked. Yeah, when Jimmy gives me a call and says, "Taz, come on down," I ain't going there. I'm not going to the Titanic wreck.
Come on down.
Yeah, we went to school with James Cameron. That's why we're joking about this. Jimmy is James Cameron. Okay, so the answer to that, is that how he got his nickname, Michel Bunny Larocque, is false.
Mais oui.
So John is right. Probably Vince is right. Maybe not. Maybe Vince thought that was it.
I don't know.
Yeah, usually on a question like this, I make up a bunch of stuff so that I can fool everybody. But I was just going to leave this pretty simple. So, how did he get his nickname? That is the question.
Eating carrots.
He ate a lot of carrots for his eyesight. That's why he was such a good goaltender. Actually, his mother called him that when he was a baby, her little bunny. And the nickname stuck all through his life.
Holy shite. That's a long time, man.
That was what his mother called him.
Oh,
pretty simple.
That's pretty simple. How did that get passed on? My mommy called me Bunny.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
You know, she called him that in front of his friends. His friends went to school with him and told all the kids at school. They all called him Bunny, and he became Bunny Larocque.
It's no boom boom or rocket.
No,
that's all I can say.
No, it's not a boom boom or rocket. It's Bunny.
That's all I can say.
He started his junior hockey on the Ottawa 67s. He was drafted 6th overall in 1972 by the Habs.
It's no chocolate or Taz either.
In 1973, he played with the Nova Scotia Voyageurs of the AHL and was awarded the Hap Holmes Memorial Award.
Hap Ems?
Hap Holmes.
Hap Holmes.
Awarded to the goalie with the lowest goals against average and who has appeared in at least 25 games. He won that. He started with the Habs in 74. The season dried and sat out in a contract dispute and went to finish his law degree.
Mais oui.
Yeah, Vinny Hudon told us that.
Yes, mais oui.
He educated us. Thank you, Vinny. We got it right this time.
No money, I leave.
He shared duties with Michel Plas and Wayne Thomas.
Michel Plas.
And Wayne Thomas.
Wayne Thomas, who I believe played in Niagara Falls, Ontario.
He did. He
played for the Niagara Falls Flyers.
He sure did. That is correct. But the starting goalie, once the Habs hit the playoffs, he was the guy. That year in 74, he was the guy who started in the playoffs. Dryden returned in 75 after a year off, and Larocque shared 4 Vezina Trophy wins in that year, and the award was given to he won 4 Vezinas, and in that year, the award was given to the principal goalies on the team, allowing the fewest goals in the regular season.
So it was a shared award.
It was a shared award. Of course, the first 3 mostly were Ken Dryden.
Dryden would play like 68 of the games, and Bunny would play 12 or whatever.
That's exactly right. He played most of the games was Dryden. Because of Dryden's all-star play. In 77, Bunny led the league with a 2.09 goals against average, but only managed to appear in 26 games.
Nice work if you can get it.
In 79, Dryden retired, and Larocque went on to win his 4th Vezina, sharing duties with Richard Sevigny. Remember him?
Richard Sevigny.
Yeah.
Mais oui.
Yeah. See, these are guys you kind of lose track of over the years, and all of a sudden the name pops up and you go, oh, yeah, I remember that guy.
For sure. For sure.
Salute. I hit a vodka here. Okay. Now, nearing the trade deadline in '79, Bunny was traded to the Loafs. He went over to the Maple Loafs down the highway here. Played for Philly and St. Louis, ending his career in '85 after playing 15 games with the Peoria Rivermen in the International Hockey League. That's where he ended his career. He had enough. He played 15 and quit. Retired. That was it. He was done by then. But here's the sad part. His post-hockey career included being general manager of the Victoriaville Tigers, Tigre, of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League.
QJMHL or something? Or QJHL?
QMJHL. Yeah. Tragically, this is sad. I never remembered this. He died of brain cancer at the age of 40.
Yeah, that's young.
In his hometown of Hull, Quebec. Yeah,
very young.
Yeah, that's young to be, geez, Buddy Larocque died young. But he did play for the Montreal Canadiens. He was a factor in the 70s when they won 4 Stanley Cups in a row. Filled in for Ken Dryden in '74 when Dryden had a contract dispute and went to finish his law degree.
I mean, what a great time to be on a winning team.
Yeah, I mean, here's a guy who really didn't play a lot. He was always there.
You're on the ice, and it's much like Monty was speaking about, and we spoke about last week, the experience of being around winners, and how much Monty enjoyed, practicing with the elite Canadian hockey players for that Fantastic Four tournament.
You got to wonder, about history, right? Like the history.
The histoire.
What if Dryden just didn't come back? Would Bunny Larocque have been able to lead the Canadians to 4 Stanley Cups in a row?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Dryden was a pretty special goaltender.
He was the guy.
And think about this too. Dryden had a very short career. I think it was like 7 seasons.
Yeah, it was hardly anything.
Okay, maybe 9, but it was very short. But he was like, he played the majority of games. Like he played a huge amount of hockey games.
Yeah, in those days, the number one goalie played a lot of games. They played 60, 65 games.
Yeah.
They didn't miss many games.
So he took the bulk of the work. But, like I say, you got 2 goalies in practice, and sometimes 3. You need Bunny there. And goaltenders, too, they're going to hang out together. Goalie's not hanging out with, the center or the left winger or the right winger. He's hanging out with the other goalie. And they're talking about hockey
and goaltending.
Specifically about goaltending. And, this guy likes to, he drops his shoulder, or if you see him come over the blue line looking at the puck, he's going to shoot it. All little things. And they're sharing that information. And that would have been very special, being on that team and being that close to Ken Dryden.
Yeah, can you imagine?
And now it's the sad thing is, Bunny's passed away at 40. I mean, we who knows if he had lived another 15, 20 years, he may have wrote a memoir about his experience of playing hockey with Les Bleus Blancs et Rouges, specifically being so close to Monsieur Dryden.
And you never know. I mean, he may have even ended up as a goaltender coach or something like that on the Habs.
Well, I mean,
who knows?
Who knows where he would have been at
he was point. GM of this other team in
Victoriaville.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
much like a guy named Patrick Waugh.
Patty Waugh.
Another goaltender.
Yes.
So
yes.
There you be.
So interesting what would have been and what did happen. Thinking about what could have happened. Maybe Bunny Larocque would have won. They had good enough teams to win. Maybe even with Bunny Larocque.
What could be? We'll never know.
We'll never know. Never know. But that's the story of Bunny Larocque.
C'est la vie.
How he got his nickname, which is his mother gave it to him. That's how he got it.
Sweet.
Some video comments. Not a lot of comments.
No, okay.
But Vinny Houdon seems to be the guy who's working with us here. He's always on there. Well, 881 Slick, 111 subscriptions. Let's keep the momentum going, boys.
Momo.
So, yeah, we got 111 subscriptions, which means that you out there, if you're watching this, Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing to subscribe. Absolutely nothing, but you get a notification when I post a new video every week. And you can tune in and have a laugh with us, right?
And come on, man. I mean, 111 of you out there, you must have at least one friend, that likes the Habs.
And that friend can get another friend.
Turn that friend on and get them to subscribe. Then we'll have 222.
There you go. Just one friend gets us over 200. Come on, let's go. Vin Houdon, of course. Yes, it was Serge Savard. Here's some trivia for you guys. Savard broke his leg twice early in his career, and it changed this game a bit.
Yeah, I remember Savard breaking a leg.
He was more offensive before he broke his leg. Twice.
Well, it's got to slow you down.
That'll slow you down, and maybe you'd have to change your game. Imagine if he was more offensive. Habs might have won 5 or 6 Stanley Cups in the 70s. And, Vinny could be right, because we had a good team right through the 70s. We didn't just all of a sudden 75, 76 turn it on for 4 years.
No, but, I mean, we did win a significant amount of cups there. And there were some good teams coming up from New York, the Islanders, the Flyers.
Yeah.
There were some pretty tough teams.
Yeah, the NHL wasn't 32 teams back then. I don't know how many teams there were. Maybe
would have been
18?
12 plus
6,
maybe
18?
3, something like that.
Yeah,
and then a few more as it slowly grew.
So the league wasn't as watered down. You had a lot of teams that were pretty darn good. That makes it even better
though.
for
think about. I mean, the league was watered down when they did the original expansion.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It took a long time for that other 6, that Western Conference, to actually be competitive. I mean, after you won the Eastern Division, the Stanley Cup was a slam dunk.
Basically, yeah. How many times did we play St. Louis and beat them?
Yeah, it was like slam dunk. Dunk. It was much like when the NFL and the AFL merged. Same idea. Thing. When the NFL champion was playing the AFL champion. For what wasn't even called the Super Bowl yet. It was like another slam dunk until, Broadway Joe took over.
Yeah, it seemed like St. Louis always got the good players. They got a lot of good Montreal players.
Red Berenson.
Yeah, well, Jacques Plante.
Jacques Plante.
Didn't they get Glenn Hall, too?
Glenn Hall, that was their tandem in goal.
Yep, and who else was on that team? There's a lot of good, the Plaguers.
Well, yeah, exactly.
The Plaguers were on that team.
Tough
Scotty Bowman was the coach.
Yeah.
So, they had a pretty darn good team coming into the league.
They started out extremely well. Of all those teams.
They won the West all the time, and then they always lost.
It'd be them in Minnesota. And people don't realize, too, how strong of a hockey area that Minneapolis-St. Paul is. Because of the climate, hockey was always a popular sport in that area.
Vinny Houdon, again, unfortunately, Beck did not get an assist against Carolina. And that's where we were here saying, Beck got the assist, and they announced it, and I thought he did. But then when Vinny put this post on here, I looked, and no, he wasn't. So for some reason, the announcers made a mistake on who it was. They must have convicted 62 with 92 or something. And he never got it in that game, but he did get it.
Could have been 72.
Yeah, it could have been 72. They did get it.
He did get it.
Yep, this week, in these 3 games.
The next game.
He did get it. At Vinny Houdon again, trivia was too easy. I yelled Serge Savard out way before you mentioned his name.
Wow. Imagine that.
And he said 68-69, right? Yeah, that's right. Time to unpause the vid now. So he pauses the video, answers our video question, and then texts us, and then watches the video again to get the answer.
That's fair.
I get it. I love it. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Vinny, our number 1 guy there. He checks stuff for us. He's like a part of the show now, almost. If I didn't see a comment from Vinny, I'd be very concerned about his health. Seriously, I would think there may be something wrong with Vinny. Like I'd say, okay, I'd probably be texting him or messaging him and go, Vinny, are you all right? I didn't see a comment. We love our commenters, and we love all the people who watch the show. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Okay, let's get over to the games, John.
The games. Let the games begin.
Sharks at home. We won 4-3. Last place Sharks put up an effort, but the Habs were the better team. Of course, the highlight of the night was in overtime. when Goal Caulfield put the puck between his legs to get around young star Macklem Celebrini, who is going to be a good one. My goodness, this kid is so good. 18 years old. And top shelf the winning goal. What a highlight reel goal that was. Susie got a pair. His first goals against the Sharks ever.
Fabulous. An entertaining game.
It really was. Back and forth.
Will Smith, too, is impressive.
Yeah, Will Smith and Celebrini, those two guys, they just came out of the draft like maybe last year or the year before. Not very much. 18 years old, Celebrini, and Will Smith's not much older. And believe me, the Habs looked at both these guys.
Absolutely.
And they ended up getting, I think, Reinbacher, maybe.
I believe so.
I think that was the year. It wasn't the year Drew Deeks jumped in the pool. That was Demidov. But yeah, they were looking at both those guys. And I can see why. They're in last place, the Sharks, but seriously, they're maybe last, but they've got something going on down there.
They have potential.
They really do. Newhook added a goal after CC got the winner. Of course, we saw that beautiful goal, and we won that game. I was going great. We should have won that one.
It's the game a game we should win.
And you know that was the Sharks' first loss in the Bell Center since March 21st, 2015.
Come on.
Yeah.
They don't play in the Bell Center very often.
Well, you don't play the Sharks very often. I mean, we play, maybe a game or two a year, right?
So, but if you only, how many times a year would you play San Jose? At least twice, right? No?
Probably once at home and once away.
Yeah.
I would say twice a year. And, we might have beat them at home, but we haven't beat them at the Bell Center. They come up, and that always made me mad. Because some of the excuses you use when the team goes on that Western swing is they're tired, the time change, and everything else. So you can see them losing when they get down there. So it's the same thing when these guys come this way. And you'd say, okay, they got the time change. We should beat them, and we haven't. Yeah, that's a crazy stat right there. But that's it. But we won the game in OT, and Caulfield, you can see why this guy is one of the best. I mean, we haven't seen the best of this kid yet. He's on 30 goals now, but we haven't seen the best of this guy, I don't think.
I mean, he's playing extremely well.
Oh, unbelievable.
I mean, he's got, 30 goals now in how many games?
61 games, I think we played.
So 30 goals, 61 games. I mean, a goal every 2 games,
every couple games.
So, if he scored 40 goals a year for the next 6-8 years, I don't think anybody would be upset.
Well, he could be close to that this year. He's got 21 games left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you got 40 goals out of Cole Caulfield over the next 6 to 8 years, très bien.
Unbelievable. Then we moved on to the Sabres. And the Sabres are a team I always want to beat. They're just over here, 20 minutes away. We always want to beat the Sabres.
Buffalo Sabres.
They always give us a hard time.
Think about the Buffalo Sabres, too. I mean, I've always felt, they had some of the best hockey players at one time that should have been on Montreal.
Yeah.
Like
Perreault.
Gilbert Perreault.
Randy Robert.
Those, yeah.
What's his name? Richard Martin.
All three of those guys. Imagine if they had been on the Canadiens. Wow.
Well, I told you the story about Richard Martin, right?
I don't know which story you told me.
Well, I went to a Buffalo Sabres game, and we were at the Pearl Street Brewery there, right by the arena. And I was sitting down with some friends that went, and this blonde woman came up to the table, and she said, "Would you like to meet Ricky Martin?" Oh, and I go, "The guy from La Vida Loca? What's he doing here?"
Yeah, exactly.
She goes, no, Richard Martin, the hockey player. And I'm going, I don't know. Well, I guess so. So we go over there, right? And he's sitting right next to King Kong Korab. And he's a big dude, right? They called him King Kong Korab. He was a player for the Sabres. And so I went up there and I said, Richard, you played for the Montreal Junior Canadiens. Tell me you weren't sick when you had to go play for Buffalo instead of the Montreal Canadiens. And Korab stands up and goes, What's the matter with the Buffalo Sabres? I'm looking at him going, oh, nothing, sir. And Richard Martin is just laughing his head off over there, right? Then we shook hands and everything, right? It was fun. But yeah, that was a pretty funny thing. And that blonde woman that came over was his wife.
That sounds like a story of Zelensky, Trump, and Pam Bondi.
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
But that was a pretty funny thing there at the Pearl Street Brewery. And the people were, they were standing around talking to Richard Martin and getting his autograph and everything, right? And they got a kick out of that one.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, great hockey players. I mean, Gilbert Perreault may be like one of the top 10 hockey player ever.
Oh, yeah. The French Connection. Didn't they call them the French Connection?
Absolutely.
So it was fantastic. But anyway, we beat them. We got them good, 4-2. A good game. A lot of rough stuff, though. A lot of rough stuff. And that carried over into the game, the back-and-back game in Montreal a couple days later. The Habs didn't fade, gave it right back to the Sabres at home. They weren't backing down from them at all. Goals from Cole Caulfield, 29. Anderson, great to see him score, 17. Newhook, 15. And Evans, 71. Evans. I love this guy. Who scored an empty netter to put the game away? Hudson had 2 assists, which moved him into second place in Canadiens history for most points by a rookie defenseman with 46.
It's impressive.
Who was number 1?
Oh, gee. Doug Harvey?
Chris Chelios.
Wow.
Has the record with 64 points.
So it's modern day record, right?
Yeah. So,
but bear that in mind. It's a modern day record. Because when Doug Harvey's playing, there's 50 games. These guys are playing, there's 82.
Yeah. And he was a rookie. This was a rookie thing, too.
Yeah.
I don't know how Harvey did in his rookie year.
We'll have to look that up.
But anyway, he's got 46. He needs 18 more points. Catch Chelios, 19 to beat him. So he becomes the number 1 rookie with the most points ever on Montreal Canadiens.
Cool.
Novus got the expected win with a solid 9-20 performance. Good game by the Habs. The Buffalo Sabres were being idiots. They tried to push them around. Habs didn't take any of that crap and took the game to them. In the Buffalo, what do they call that? Buffalo TD Center? What do they call that?
War Memorial Auditorium.
Well, it used to be the Buffalo War Memorial Auditorium.
Right? War Memorial Auditorium.
That's what it used to be.
Can you imagine that back in the day, Jacques Plante played in Buffalo for the Buffalo Pepsis or something like that? Their logo looked like a Pepsi-Cola bottle cap.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. They were the sponsors. I guess Pepsi, maybe we were the Pepsi Center, but now I don't know what it's called. It used to be the HSBC Center, but
it's had many names.
I think it's some bank now. So what happens after that game? That was a good game, John. That was a really good game. I liked them, and we got the empty netter. We didn't have to fool around, and that was the end of the Sabres for that game.
Solid game. A lot of Montreal fans there. They were the only fans there at the end of the game.
They were. There was a lot of ole, ole.
Now when Buffalo loses to a Canadian team, at the end of the game, there'll be no fans.
Yeah,
because the Buffalo fans will all left, and the Canadian fans will have not gone to the game.
Yeah. Sabres. And they come to Montreal there. And we beat them 4-3 in overtime this time. But that was a slobber knocker. Sabres decided to carry over the rough stuff and made their game parade to the sin bin. Habs punished them for that, going 2 for 5 on the power play and adding a shorty to really piss them off. Suzuki led the way with a goal and 3 assists. Slav added 1. And CC banged home his 30th of the season. The Habs looked like what seemed to be an insurmountable, dreaded 3-0 lead. You know, on Facebook I put that. Oh, no, the dreaded 3-0 lead. And, of course, the Sabres banged their way back. They made a comeback. And the pesky Sabres, they never give up. They battle back. You know, they don't have that really, really bad of a team. They got some good players in that team.
They have some good players.
They really do.
But, I mean, again, it was like that first period, 3 goals in the first 13 and a half minutes. 2
power play goals.
I mean,
and a shorty.
We should. That was our game. Obviously, we owned that. Those 14 minutes. I would have thought that the Canadians would have controlled that game in a bigger way.
Yeah, especially after having a 3-0 lead. I mean, I don't know.
I thought they were going to light it up. I thought we were going to have more of, like, I think the second game we played against the Sabres, which was like 6 or 7-1.
Yeah, our 5-on-5 play really didn't do anything. Sabres seemed to be jamming us up. It seemed like we just couldn't really get anything going 5-on-5. It was a weird game. It was a weird game. When they tied up, went into overtime, I'm going, oh boy, like this is the kind of game you have nightmares about. 3-0 lead, lose the lead, go into overtime and lose the game. I mean, that would have been so heartbreaking. And
at home.
But you know what? Matheson came down and he scored the goal.
And I think that's the difference between this year and last year.
I agree.
We're winning those games. Those games that we would have lost in overtime, we're winning this year.
Absolutely.
Fabulous to see.
And that's what we were looking for at the beginning of the season. We said, if we can just win these kind of games, the games that, we probably should have won. We gave up the lead. But you know what? We're winning those. There's a big difference when you start winning those. And that's why we're battling it out 1 point out of a wild card spot. And last year we were in 28th.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing.
We can just win those ones, right?
Yeah, and to come out, like I say, from the break and win 7 games in a row, fabulous.
Yeah. You talk about...
I mean, think about, seriously, 3 weeks ago, as we went, or I guess 4 weeks ago, 4 to 5 weeks ago, before we got into that 2-week layoff, we were like, man, what happened?
Yeah, we just died.
We felt like we got hit by a truck. Like we were going the right way, and somebody slammed us and turned us 180. And
the nincompoop 9.
Now all of a sudden
we're back
to where we were at the beginning of January, in the middle of January.
Yeah, and we talk about that. And we were just talking about Bunny Larocque, right? And him hanging around Dryden. You said just him hanging around Dryden made him a better goalie in that. And I gotta believe, when I watched Sammy play, him hanging around with winners at that Fabulous Four, whatever it was called, it made a big difference in him.
It definitely inspired him.
Yeah, it did.
Without a doubt. And I think that's what MSL has captured. He's taken advantage of that. And then he's challenged Marty to say, okay, you didn't get to play in the tournament, but this is the way you're feeling. So here's your opportunity to go out and win some hockey games. Show us.
Yeah, and he's stepping up. He's playing good. He's winning games. What can we say, right?
And I love that. I love that.
And he was losing before he went to that tournament. So I got to think that some of the goodness of the players he was hanging around with every day and working in goal with and everything rubbed off on him.
It's contagious. It's just contagious.
Winning is contagious.
By the way, Doug Harvey, in his first year with the Montreal Canadiens, played 35 games.
Okay.
He scored 4 goals and had 4 assists.
Yeah, so...
But in his second season,
all right,
he played 55 games. He had 3 goals and 13 assists. So basically, all the way through, Harvey's goal production stayed about the same. But each year, his assists increased. So by 52, 53, he had 30 assists. By 54, 55, he was in the 40s for the next 3 years, basically. And that's basically how hockey was played.
Back then,
defensemen didn't really go up to the offensive blue line too often. They were more about starting the play.
Getting it out of the zone, getting it up, and you had 2 lines you had to worry about then for offsides.
For sure.
And so they wouldn't very seldom wander in beyond the blue line.
Let alone rush the puck, go around the net.
Oh, that's a Bobby Orr thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's new style.
So
we talk about a stay-at-home defenseman. That's what we're talking about, Doug Harvey. Okay, so that was a great 6 points and put us right in a position here, 1 point out of the wild card spot. So we're now 30, 26, and 5 with 21 games left to play. Right now, they're sitting at 65 points, 1 point out of a wild card spot, battling it out with the Rangers, Detroit, Ottawa, and Boston to make the dance. Now, here's some stats. I did some numbers here.
Okay.
The last wildcard spot held by the Rangers, who are headed for an 88-point season, if you can believe that. If they keep on the pace they're at, 88 points, so 90 points will make the playoffs.
That seems low, eh?
Very low. Usually it's 95. If you project their current win percentage, right now for Habs to make the playoffs, they would need to win 13 of their last 21 games or run at about 62%.
That seems achievable.
I was going to say that because last week it was like 67, 68% we had to win. Now we're only at 62%.
Well, considering we've won 100% of our games since the break, winning 61% of the next set of games seems very conceivable.
Of course, winning against the teams they're battling out with is important, and they play Boston once, Ottawa twice more, Detroit once. We don't play the Rangers. So
Boston probably has a slightly better record than us.
Yeah, but you know what? No, Boston's behind us now. We're a point ahead of them.
So we have a better record than Boston.
Because
we have a better record than Ottawa?
I think we're about the same as Ottawa. We're neck and neck. They might have 66 points. We have 65.
Right. And what's the other team?
Detroit.
List? Detroit.
They're at 66 points, I believe.
So we're right there with those teams.
That's right. We're right there. But here's the neat thing. We're headed on a 4-game road trip starting Thursday in Edmonton. So these 4 games that are coming up are really important. I went through the rest of the schedule to see who we play. And I figure that there's 16 games there that we're probably going to win. We have a really good chance of winning.
16 of the 21.
Right.
So now, that puts us in the playoffs.
That would, as it stands right now, if we could do that, we would be in the playoffs.
Woohoo!
But here's some of the bad news. We have Seattle. I think we're going to beat Seattle. That's we have Edmonton first, the Oilers.
That's a tough game.
I think we could win that game. The Oilers have been wonky lately.
That is the toughest game, I think, of the next 4.
Yeah, Calgary we could win against.
Calgary at this point, with our record and their record, to me now falls into we should win that game.
Now, Vancouver is going to be a tough game.
I think that's another game that is ours to win.
Okay. And then we play Seattle.
And we have a much better record than Seattle as well, right?
Yes. Now, those 4 are on the road. So that's another 4 games there that are the Fantastic 4, I call them, because if we can win the Fantastic 4, I'd say we got a really, if we can go on the road and win these, we got a really, really good shot.
I would like to see us win at least 3 of those 4.
I'd like to see 3 or 4. If we win 2, it's not even that bad, to be honest.
Yeah, I think if you're playing 50% on the road, that's not so bad.
Because then, after we finish with Seattle, we got Florida. The Senators, again, that's a must-win.
Okay.
Islanders, which we're going to win. Avs, tough game. At home, though. They're at home. They're in Montreal, so I'd say we got a shot at beating them. The Blues we should beat. Philly we should beat. Carolina, going to be a tough one. Going to be a tough one in Carolina. Florida, another tough one.
We just beat Carolina, right?
Yep, okay. In Montreal. Florida's another tough one. Now that's 1, 2, 3, 4 more on the road in a row. Then we got Florida again at Montreal. We might be able to beat them in Montreal. Bruins must win.
Okay.
At home. Flyers, we're going to win that at home. Nashville, in Nashville, tough game.
Yeah, it's a good party town.
Detroit is a must-win. We play Detroit at home. Senators, we go back to Ottawa and play another must-win. Leafs, up in the air. I don't know about that one. We never know. Chicago, we win. In our last game against the Canes at home, I think we could win that. So if you count my yays against my nays, I think we got 14 or 15 of these games we have a shot at winning.
Excellent.
So, what a drive to the end of the season. 21 games left, and I think we're going to make it. I really think we're going to make it.
Looks like we're going to make it.
It looks like it. It looks like it. So it's going to be real close. Let me put it down.
I think we could make it.
I think we could make it. And you know what? Let's put it this way. It's good. It could come down to that.
If we try.
Is that a song?
I don't know. Is it?
I think so.
I think we could make it if we try.
Wasn't that the Captain and Chenille or whatever they're called? Let's see. But Chicago.
Captain and Toenail.
The Chicago we should beat. And the Canes, I mean, it could come down to one game. Beating the Canes.
Wow.
You never know, right? When we get
you never know.
But we got to win we should win. Our goal is to win every game. We're not going to do that. But if we can catch 13 of them, 14
Can you imagine if we won every game?
Well.
Like, it would be, can you imagine the stories?
It would be.
Everybody would be talking about the Montreal Canadiens.
They would be. They probably are now.
We might be setting history if we won every game.
That'd be something. I don't know if we're going to do that, but I think we can win enough to make the cut. And that's what I wanted at the beginning of the season, to make the cut. We're seeing it. These guys have the
Well, I also think there's a lot going on that is helping us to make this cut. And I also believe that what we just saw happen, I think yesterday, is a bit of an indicator.
You're talking about Jake Evans signing $2.85 for 4 years.
Absolutely.
I am so happy about this signing. This Jake Evans kid is the guy who is taking a little bit of a discount to stay with the Canadiens and win a Stanley Cup.
You know what? This is a perfect example of compromise. I think every world power should look at this negotiation and learn.
What are they going to learn? $2.85 million.
That compromise can get successful results.
Well, that always does. It always does. Conflict is not good. If he would have, I think he would have went to open market and got more.
I believe he would have.
Maybe 3.5, maybe 4. Who knows?
But what's another $500,000 between friends?
Not when you like
friends.
Yeah, not when you're
mes amis.
Yeah, not when you're looking at the future of the Habs and what they got going on.
But not only that, when you're happy where you live.
Yeah, he's happy. He is happy being on the Habs. And I think it's
so that's because we have this amazing culture that we've set up. We've made a place that people want to be at.
Yeah.
That's important. We've created that culture.
And he wants that because he probably even argued his agent with this. I mean, he probably said to his agent, you can get more. I want to stay here.
It's the time of his life.
And he's playing great, and he's going to be an added. If we ever get in the playoffs, this kid is going to be an added bonus.
He also sees that the future looks bright.
Yeah, he just looks around.
Like this team is determined to win a Stanley Cup and become an elite hockey team like they were over the last 100 years in the National Hockey League.
And I think, like, when you get down to this team, these bottom two lines, the third and the fourth lines, with Heineman and Evans and Armia and Dvorak and that, I mean, they have been doing yeoman's work down there. And they're going to, like Evans is the guy. He's the guy.
Evans always knew he was not a top 6 player. And he was fine with being a bottom 6, but being the best bottom 6 player he could be. And he's worked hard on his game. And this year, I mean, it's shown fortune in the fact that, he's scored shorthanded goals. He's been invaluable on the PK. He's a strong checker.
Oh, yeah. And in the center, I mean, when they need to face off one at the end of the game, they send him out there. Him or Suzuki, one or the other. Yeah,
or Dvorak.
But usually it's Evans out there.
Dvorak takes the face off actually on the 3-on-3 and then slides away.
Yeah. What an addition to sign this guy. Sometimes your best signings are just re-signings, right?
Well, and what does it say? I mean, why did he get re-signed? Was it all Jake Evans? Was it all Ken Hughes? Was it the fact that Ken Hughes looked at what the market would bear, what he could get for Jake Evans, and said it wasn't worth it?
I think a little bit of both.
I think it's a lot there. I think it shows what's going on in the NHL. So not everybody wants to give away the farm. Now we know that I believe Ken Hughes would have traded Jake Evans for a first round draft choice in maybe the top 10, the first 10 overall. I think that would have been a done deal. But nobody was willing or who was in that position to make that kind of a trade for Jake Evans.
He must feel great, though, Jake Evans. I mean, he's going to be on a team that's going to be looking at a Stanley Cup in the next few years. He's also given the nod and given the confidence of Hughes for 4 years. We want you here for 4 years. That you're valuable to the team. So he's got to feel like $1 million. And when you see all these guys hanging around, Caulfield, Suzuki, Slav, all these guys, Evans, and the whole bunch of them hang around together like the best friends. Why would you want to leave that?
You wouldn't, except you want to be paid. You want, you have a tenure that is very short to play hockey. Most likely, you're a bottom 6 player. You won't be there once you hit 31. Every year is a bonus probably. So that's why you're looking for a 5-year deal rather than the 3-year deal, which they compromised on 4.
Right. And the price too.
And the price as well.
That's a great price. I mean, even if, no matter what, even if Jake Evans ends up being a dog, to move him for 2.85 is nothing. You move a player for that, that's not a problem. That's a reasonable for any move you can make with the guy, right? So,
and you've got to remember, you've got to also remember that this team has still got a lot of 20-year-olds that we're still onboarding, that we're still trying to give experience. There are other players who are going to slide off the table, I think, at the end of this year. And you wouldn't want Jake Evans just to slide unless you got something for him. There wasn't what Ken Hughes wanted out there, so he made this deal. And it's great that Jake Evans compromised, and so did Ken Hughes.
I love it.
So it's a win-win. I mean, you talk about win-win situations. This truly is a win-win.
Yeah, and we got contracts coming up, too, that people are going to be leaving. There's some are going to be re-signed. I think Dvorak's one of them. So this makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Owen Beck. How about Owen Beck on the second line?
Owen Beck is only on the second line because Caden Gooley? Is it Caden Gooley or no? Who got hurt?
Doc.
Kirby Dach was on the second line and got hurt.
Yeah.
If Kirby Dach had been on the fourth line and got hurt, Owen Beck would have been on the fourth line.
Yeah, well, this is perfect, though. They could have moved anybody up there. They could have moved Evans up there.
But they don't want to because they want to keep the combinations that are working together.
Yeah, and Beck
So whoever got hurt, Owen Beck, we stick you in.
Beck is playing good.
Beck is playing well.
I like him.
And Owen Beck is 20 years of age.
Yeah, he's got to be thrilled. Playing on the second line with Laine and
he's thrilled to be playing in the National Hockey League and getting experience. And this is really the beginning of his NHL career.
Did you expect him to be on the second line?
I expected Owen Beck to be playing for the Montreal Canadiens next year.
There you go.
Okay.
So this is thrilling.
So this is exciting. And it's exciting that he's playing on a team that has won their last 7 games. And he's been a part of it. And that's what's exciting.
He was interviewed at the boards there, so that's pretty cool. And also, the experience he's getting is phenomenal. He's getting good ice time because that second line gets good ice time. So that's beautiful for him. It's going to make him all the better down the road.
Well, it's definitely important that he gets valuable NHL playing experience. It's great for his development. He's starting to he's got a couple of points, I think, now, at least 1, maybe 2. So he's starting to, gel. He'll feel comfortable out there, and he won't be like looking for a point because it's coming to him.
There you go. Les 3 étoiles de la semaine dernière. What are your 3 stars for last week there, Johnny boy?
Well, I guess my first star would be the first line.
Yeah, they're in the goals.
Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki.
They're scoring goals.
Slavkovsky.
Yeah,
they're on the sheet every game in a big way. Like,
that's what you need.
That's what you. I mean, like, look at Monday night's game, right? There they were, like in the first 13 minutes, they're all over the sheet.
Yeah,
right.
Suzuki had a goal. And
Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky.
Yeah,
first 3 goals.
There you go.
Right. Suzuki and Slavkovsky get assists on the Matheson overtime goal.
That's it. We need our first line to be our first line.
So I'm loving that.
Number 2.
My second star has to be Jake Evans and Ken Hughes. The fact that they sat down and they worked out the security issues, and the Montreal Canadiens, they came to terms.
Perfect.
I love it.
Number 3.
Number 3
Le troisième étoile
would be the coach in Laval.
Pasquale Vincent?
Maui, because he's doing such a remarkable job with the team in Laval. They're playing well. He's got them playing like the big team as well, so that it's so much easier for players to move up into the big team and be consistent with the method of play.
There you go.
Okay? And he's got, like, he made a comment about Reinbacher the other day. And he goes, I don't make many comments about defensemen like this, but this guy has everything.
Ooh,
so
that's good to
like
hear.
he's got the wheels, but he's got the vision. He knows the strategy. He's got the hockey sense, but he also has the puck handling skills to go with it. So sometimes you'll get a player who has one but not the other. He says Reinbacher is the whole package, and it's been very rare that he's ever said this about any defenseman.
Wow.
So
can't wait.
Again, it's like there is so much coming. So to have won the last 7 games, to now feel like we're striking towards making the playoffs this year. The fact that we cemented this relationship with Jake Evans, which to me shows us that we're definitely very interested in making the playoffs this year. That this is very important to this team. We are hitting our goals for the rebuild. We're on track. That's what I see. We are on track.
Okay, my first 3 stars, Caulfield, what can I say? 30 goals, a highlight reel goal to win in overtime. The guy is amazing and is only going to get better. Gold Caulfield. You got to love him. Susie, our captain. This guy continues to prove why he's not only our captain, but a premier player in the NHL. Point a game, that's what he's headed for this year. Unbelievable. I just love watching the guy. He never gives up, and he's the kind of guy you want to lead your team to a Stanley Cup. My third one is Jake Evans. Not only is this guy a key player for the Habs on the penalty kill, he just signed with the Habs and probably took less than he could have got on the open market. 4 years, $2.85 a year to remain a Hab and win a cup with these guys. He wants to be a Hab, this guy. He wants to be a Hab. And he proves it game in and game out. And now by signing 4 years at a great yearly salary, he loves his teammates and being part of what the Habs are and the culture of the Habs. What a team guy. Happy that you signed, Jake. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
It's fabulous.
It's fabulous.
It's been a great 2 weeks.
It really has been a great 2 weeks. And now we need another 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, we have
3
games before we have our next show, right?
Yes.
So it's Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver. Goaltending wise, it's got to be Monty.
Yeah.
Hopefully Dobis. Monty.
I'd like to see that. I don't know though. Marty, he may just play him all 3 games on the road.
We'll see. We called it right last time, and basically it was a 2 out of 3 split. So that's what I'd like to see.
I'd like to see Dobish get it. Yeah, Calgary is the game. I think you're right about that.
Correct.
Calgary would be the game.
Yeah, and then man, I'd love to see us win all 3. I'd be satisfied with 2.
Yep, I think of the 4 on the road that we're going, I think 3 out of 4 would be nice. 2 out of 4 would be okay. We just wanted to keep away from 1 out of 4 or something.
Yeah,
we need points.
I'm 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 in that sense. But yeah, I'd be satisfied for over the next 3 games winning 2 of them.
Yeah, I don't even care.
Like in Canada.
And like winning them, I don't even care about that because we're not in the same division as them or anything. But getting points out of 8 points, you want to get 6, right? 3,
right?
So how we get them, I don't care. If we tie 4 games and win 1 in overtime, that's fine with me. As long as we get 6 points.
Yeah, that keeps our winning percentage in the high level.
And they're not the must-win games like against Ottawa in our division.
But they're important because you want to be on that positive roll of winning at this point. Number one, you don't want to drop back to what happened at the end of January where you went into a slump.
Yeah, you don't want to go into a slump.
So you want to be winning the majority and staying out of a slump.
Yeah, so
and the slump mentality that comes with it.
But I want to get those points. Points. We need points. We need 1 point a game no matter what, and then 2 if we can get it in overtime. We need the points. That's what we're looking for. So the easiest way is get the wins.
Absolutely.
And the toughest way is start tying them and having to go to overtime every game on the road. Anyway, this is our goal. This is our mission over the next week. We'll be watching closely, and we'll be back next week at noon with Habsolutely in the studios of 4680Q.
Bonjour, mes amis. Have a great day.
My name is Paul K. Lemire.
Jean-Louis Filion.
And we are Habsolutely. We're out of here. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button. Hit the don't like button. Leave a comment. That's what we like when you guys watch our videos. And like I say, it costs nothing to subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. Get notifications when we post a game. We'll see you next week at noon on Habsolutely in the studios of 4680Q.
Au revoir.
Au revoir, mon ami. We're out of here. Go Habs, go.